I'm Todd Bookspan, and welcome to your neighborhood real estate show. The hyperlocal real estate show where real estate professionals talk about the neighborhood you live in or the neighborhood you want to live in. This episode is brought to you by homebuyeruniversity.net, your free comprehensive guide to buying or refinancing your home. Click over to homebuyeruniversity.net to get started online today. Hey everyone, I'm Todd Bookspan, and welcome to another edition of Your Neighborhood Real Estate Show. I am so excited today to introduce you to my friend, the author of the amazing book, Raving Referrals, and the CEO of HOA.com, Barnum. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Quite a pleasure.
You know, we've been talking about getting together and doing some type of podcast or recording now for months, so I'm really excited that we've got the opportunity to sit down today. So thanks for being here.
My pleasure. No time better than today.
Yeah, and you have such a great background, right? You've been in the industry, in industries for a while with your past. So kind of how did you kind of springboard from to where you are now, running HOA.com, super successful author. I mean, where did you start in business and how did you evolve to here?
My business career started right out of college, got a degree in marketing, and then started out as a marketing director for an estate planning law firm. I also had a child in college, and I got full custody when I was 24, and all of a sudden I couldn't pay the mortgage and the daycare, and so I got in the mortgage business.
There you go.
And from there I spent 12 years in the mortgage industry, learned the art and the science of raving referrals, and that took my income from $20,000 a year to $200,000 a year. And then since then, I've been building technologies to help others build their business by referral.
I mean, that's such a great story. I mean, to 10x your income because you learned how to connect, that's a big deal.
It's huge. It's huge. And thank God I had a mentor and a coach to guide me and sort of teach me that secret sauce. Too many people try and figure it out on their own, and it's just a longer path. So having a coach like you is always the fastest path to success.
Well, I mean, I think that's it. We all know that success leaves clues, and oftentimes it's right in front of you, but people are afraid to ask. And, I think I've been in that position before. I thought, I can do it better on my own, but I really just found as long as I ask smarter people like you, hey, how do you do this? That's the shortcut to get there. And it seems like that's, at your core, your whole goal is to really help people reach that level of success they're shooting for and providing the tools and the connections and the systems to do that.
That's it, 100%. Well said. Couldn't have said it better.
All right, so let's spend a minute on Raving Referrals, and then let's switch to HOA.com and what you're doing. So how did the book come about?
I started writing the book 10 years ago, and it's everything that I've learned over 25 years in business. And what I recognized once we got the domain HOA.com, I said, I've got to have a system to be able to teach what I know to all of the professionals that we want to help. And so that's what really necessitated the book. So I took the month of December really in 2020 and then got the book done.
Just finished up that long-term 10-year project.
That's right, absolutely.
That gives me hope for my book.
Well, and the beauty, much like you, is I had created sections which ended up as chapters right over the years. And so, but it took a month to really wrap everything together, and what a better time to do it than December, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tie a bow on it and then get it ready to roll. So who do you think would benefit from picking up a copy of Raving Referrals?
Well, we've written it for anybody that's either in B2B or B2C. It's written from the perspective of what I learned in the mortgage business. So with HOA.com, we connect homeowners to professionals they can trust. So the professionals are realtors, mortgage lenders, insurance agents, financial planners, painters, plumbers, and all of the other blue-collar people that serve homeowners. In addition, it's super helpful if you're in B2B sales. 84% of B2B sales start with a referral. So if you're selling business services, you've got to be working by referral.
84%. I mean, that's a huge number, and we just know that relationships matter, and that it just, to me, as I read the book, it's that blueprint for the step by step, and some of it I think people will say, of course I knew that, but then my question always is, well, if you knew it, are you actually doing it? And then you kind of expand it to cover just all areas.
It's such a fascinating thing, because when it comes to referrals, we're like, I know how to do that, right? And it's sort of the secret voodoo around it. And so when you give people an actual system they can follow, like the art of the ask you said earlier, people don't ask.
Well, I hate asking for referrals.
Right?
I feel disingenuous, but I realize that there's an opportunity to ask for it because people who you served, who know you, like you, and most importantly now trust you, they want to see you be successful too, but oftentimes you don't ask for it, and then the other part is you don't train them how to do it, which is one of the things that you talk about as well. People aren't good at giving referrals. Like, oh yeah, I gave your name to my brother a month ago, and then you're like, oh, I never heard from your brother, and then that brother's already gone out and found a different service provider because they didn't know how to properly execute that handoff.
It's so true. And we want people to feel comfortable and confident asking for referrals. And the key is to set the stage when you first start working with that client. Don't wait until the end after you've served them. Set the stage at the beginning, right? And just say, hey, by the way, before you leave, I'd like to ask you a favor. Would it be okay, once I've proven myself to you, if you're thrilled with my service, I'd love to ask you for referrals in the future. Would that be okay? Everyone says yes to that.
Absolutely.
No one says no, because you're not putting them on the spot. It's not uncomfortable. So that's step one, is set the stage. Step two is listen for the referral triggers. And that's basically an expression of appreciation.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. You did such a great job. I look so good. I've lost so much weight. I've made so much money, whatever that is for your business. As soon as they express their thanks, then you want to A.S.K. to G.E.T. I'm so glad you feel that way. Remember when I said that I love helping folks like you, right? And so it's a natural introduction to ask for the referral once they've expressed their appreciation for what you do.
Yeah, and when they're going down that path, whether it's buying a home or whether they're losing weight, and people are like, oh my gosh, you look great, right? People see it, or people, they hear other people all of a sudden, the reticular activators up, right? They hear other people talking about buying a house or getting a mortgage or investing or whatever it is, and that then all of a sudden it attracts you and it attracts your client. And if you don't ask, they just forget that you said that. So I think it's just such a valuable lesson.
It's huge. And the reality is 90% of people say they trust recommendations from people that they know, right? And people are 400% more likely to buy from you if they've been referred to you. So that's the secret weapon out there in business, that people just don't really have a system. The other thing that people don't do is really create formalized referral partnerships, which is what we spend about half of the book helping them understand and then actually put into practice.
And I love it. And what else should I ask you about the book before I switch gears to HOA.com? Other than we can tell people they can get it on Amazon.com and anywhere else they want.
Sure, or ravingreferrals.com.
Never mind. Don't go to Amazon. Go to ravingreferrals.com.
Go either way. We're happy to help you either way. But if they go to ravingreferrals.com, they'll see you on our expert faculty.
Right, there you go. And then they get all sorts of other cool things when they're connected to your network that way.
They can go to referralscorequiz.com, which will take them to an assessment on ravingreferrals.com, so they can see how they score on the top 10 referral best practices.
All right, I like that. What else? So anything else I should dig on before I switch gears to HOA.com?
Well, the biggest thing is, look, if you're working and building your business by yourself, you owe it to yourself to build a team around you. Who are the other professionals that are serving your ideal clients each and every day? Yeah. If you're in the mortgage world, right, it's obviously the realtors, insurance agents, financial planners, attorneys, accountants, plus all the blue-collar guys that are out there doing construction projects that then lead to opportunities for loans.
Well, our friend Dave Savage would say you want to be the captain of the wealth team, right? You want to be you want to be the hub of that wheel of all those people, and that's part of what the book is about, and really why you've created HOA.com as sort of the use your word system, right? As really the way to expand that out.
Absolutely. Save yourself time, energy, and money, right?
Well, and all things that we have limits of, right? At some point, you'll have unlimited time and money if you can do the other parts, right?
Absolutely. And you'll find that just with one referral partnership, that alone can create a nice steady stream of income for you in your business. I remember back in the day, I had one realtor that I made $50,000 a year from, and I didn't realize that this was in year 2 of me getting into the mortgage business. I didn't realize it until the end of the year when I went to inventory where all of the transactions came from, and I'm like, holy smokes, right? Then once you've got a partner that's producing like that, you can really invest resources to win big together.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating. I just had an experience with that this week. My brother is a business law attorney, and I've got a commercial realtor friend. He does really big in multifamily, and for years my brother and I have been talking about introducing the two of them together. But when I was explaining to him who this guy was, to my brother, reminding him who he was, he was really, when I was doing mortgages, my number one referral source for years. And it wasn't necessarily because he gave my name out a lot, but what happened was he gave my name to the guy who gave my name to the most people, and they all said, gosh, they trusted him at such a high level. The other guy said, well, you know Steve, this is Steve's guy, and that really created all these other referrals. And even one of the gentlemen in that organization said, you know, Todd, I'm a connector, and when you get done with my loan, I would be shocked if I didn't refer 10 other people to you during the transaction. And guess what? He did. Now, if we could all find more people like that, that would be great, but I think oftentimes we miss it, and I think that's where you've done such a great job of A, the education, and then B, now creating the platform to help people do this.
Absolutely, and the system, right? It's all about the education and the awareness, because people don't know what they don't know, and once they can see it, you can't unsee it, right? You can't unlearn it. So now what happens is just like you said, the reticular activator, it shows up in every conversation, and you start seeing these opportunities to partner and to serve that weren't there before. And I love what you said about the introduction that this person made, because that was an influencer.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, before there was this thing called an influencer, right? But this was a true influencer, and they transferred that trust and created the credibility and authority to lead others to say yes.
So transferring trust, I mean, what do you see as a big mistake that people make when they're trying to transfer trust?
Well, just like you said, when somebody referred and they sent somebody a text, that really wasn't a very good transfer of trust, right? What we want to teach people to do is when you give a referral, make sure that you're the person that is bringing those people together. If you've got the time and it makes sense strategically, I love to actually coordinate the call and make the introduction and then be the person guiding the conversation, because now I'm edifying both parties, adding value to each of them, and every time they talk, anytime in the future, one of the first things they're going to say is, hey, have you talked to Brandon lately?
Exactly, it's going to be right here.
Exactly, and so now they're talking about you after the fact and raving about you because of the difference that you've made to them personally and professionally.
And so are you physically actually getting both on the call together? Like, hey, let's do a quick conference call. Let me get Todd in here and we're going to talk to him real quick.
I use Zoom all the time, right? I'm a Zoom fanatic.
Everyone uses Zoom today. Even Grandma uses Zoom.
That's
so,
it. There was two things that the pandemic brought forward, right, that really have stuck and made business better, in my opinion. Zoom was one, and QR codes are the other.
Yeah, it's funny because QR codes were around forever, and now no one really wanted to use them. Everyone was going to be the next big thing in real estate a decade ago, and they kind of died off.
We had a platform called TrustedTeam.com a decade ago. We started in 2011, and we built QR codes into our profiles 10 years ago.
That's why I love this guy. 10 years ago, he was doing these things.
And no one would use them, right? But now, because of pandemic and restaurant menus, everybody knows QR codes.
Except for my cousin who manages a restaurant says it's really annoying that these people will sit on their phones at the table, but then they say, I need a real menu. He's like, well, you just use a little picture.
I'm one of those. I want the menu. I want to buy the book, right? As much as I like the Kindle or the Audible, I still want the physical book.
I like it because I can zoom in on it without having to put my glasses on to read the details of it.
Well, and that's a good point. And I highlight and underline and make notes, and so the physical to me is still preferred.
Yes, no, I totally get that part, and so I love that, connecting people that way from that perspective, because oftentimes, I already said it, I think that's the most frustrating thing as a salesperson for me was someone to say, well, I referred you somebody. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really help. That's right. And so there's also that whole art of scripting somebody on, hey, you know what, I've got this guy, Brandon, he is so awesome. Like, do you have a go-to script for what you're going to tell that prospective referral about the other person to get them to want to accept the connection?
It's a great question. I don't have a script. I customize every referral and every introduction. And again, I'm edifying and supporting and uplifting to build that credibility and authority for each party. So I use LinkedIn introductions a lot, sometimes email, but those are two preferred for me, sometimes a text message. But what I do is I take time to say, listen, the reason that I'm connecting you is, and even video message, this works really well.
Video is so great.
It's so quick, right? Because you can record a quick 60-second video and say, hey, Todd, I want to connect you with Emmy Saavedra from the Champions
Institute.
Who connected us. And she's amazing, and here's why I think you should connect, right? And so by doing that, and again, setting the stage for these two people, even if you're not physically present in the conversation, you've created the introduction that's really powerful and sets them up for success.
You mentioned LinkedIn, and I know you've got a chapter on it in the book. It's one of those things I think a lot of people in sales ignore, right? They're into Facebook, they're into Instagram, maybe they're even TikToking it now, but they think LinkedIn, it's just a bunch of spam. I just don't know much out there. So sell us on why LinkedIn is something that every person that's a professional should be upgrading their game at.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question, and it really depends on who your perfect prospect is, right? In the book, I teach perfect prospect profile. I'm sure you do as well. It's so important and critical for someone's success to understand and be able to share that and speak that to others. Yesterday, I was on a call with a woman who's a social media manager, and she said, and exclusively for dentists, she's like, look, I've got 22,000 out of my 24,000 LinkedIn connections are dentists.
That's huge.
And that's what's working. She said, what I do is I help these dentists hyper-target, locate their connections within 5 miles of the office. Right? Yeah. So she's literally using it for hyper-local targeting and helping these dentists. She said, look, I can promote them on social media, but that just is white noise.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, what happens is we create an authentic connection from the dentist saying, hey, I see you live in the area. I'd love to connect sometime and just want to let you know that we're here. And she says these clients then follow up with the dentist all the time and say, wow, I had no idea your practice was here. Because of course they don't know, right? There's dentists on every block, it seems. But that's just one example where somebody that's using social media and doing that professionally has turned to LinkedIn full time to target consumers. I always think about it as a B2B platform more, right? So it's effective though for mortgage lenders that want to target realtors, but also if you're going after business owners or executives, there's no better place than LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where all the fancy people hide out. Yeah. Or hang out, I should say, not hide out. A little bit of both. I guess they're putting themselves out there. I do think it's again, we have to talk about the pillars that you need, and I think it's just one of those pieces that at least have your LinkedIn page set up and get it set up in a way that you at least look like you're in business, and
Absolutely.
Then think about how you can use the other strategies you talk about in the book to grow.
Yeah, and we use bank code as a personality assessment, and one of my past ventures, I took an interim role as CEO for Codebreaker Technologies, and we built an AI for personality, so we can one-click LinkedIn and find out who someone is, and then connect with them in a way that really lands for their personality style. So it's kind of a secret tool that we use behind the scenes to make those connections even more powerful.
All right, so we already mentioned Emmy Saavedra. We should probably just give a quick plug where if someone wants to learn more about bank code, where they can go.
Well, they can crack their code at knowyourcode.us. So if you want to take the 60-second assessment, it's really fascinating. You'll learn a lot about yourself. And if you want to use it as a sales tool, go to tcichampions.com. And there you can learn about the Champions Institute and what Emmy does to help people every day.
Yeah, I think it's, most people are familiar with these other assessments, but what I loved, it was just such a quick way to connect with somebody, and here you are. I don't know what you're doing now.
I love that I can do it in the real world.
Yeah.
I was just on a call a second ago, and the woman was talking about Barrett assessment, which I have taken. It's a great tool, but it's not something that I can use in the real world. Here tonight for HOA.com, we've got a networking event. We've got over 300 people that are registered to come to attend this event. Well, I'll use these cards in the real world, hand them to someone, say, do me a favor, read the information on the cards, sort them for what's most like you to least like you, and in 60 seconds they'll hand me back their code, and now I know exactly how they make buying decisions, but more importantly what they really care about and what they value. And from there you can customize your conversations and presentations to close more sales, but really serve them more effectively.
I think that's the key, right? It's all about closing sales to someone who's a salesperson, but to me, It's all about connecting. If I can connect and serve you at a higher level because I know who you are at your core,
that's right.
Then that just again, it's the speed of relationships. Like I said, having a mentor and a system is going to grow you there. It's just going to increase that connection. And I remember the first time I sat with Emmy, I was trying to watch a basketball game.
Go Suns?
Yeah, well, it was a bad game. They lost. But maybe it's because I stopped cheering because I went ahead and did it. But it was just super fast, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I know you, Todd," and it was just really cool experience.
I've never seen anything that builds rapport faster, because what happens is I'll hand someone the cards. Usually in about 60 seconds, they'll hand them back, and then I'll take 2 minutes to basically explain who they've just told me they are. And so I'll say, "Oh, Todd, I see that you're high knowledge. You really care about research and understanding and technology, and right." And so as you're explaining who they've told you they are based on what they value, within 2 more minutes, you've built rapport at a level that I haven't been able to do with any other tool or system.
I love it. All right, we'll definitely go to tcichampions.com.
There you go.
There we go. For the
You can go to the championsinstitute.com if you want to type all that out, but tcichampions.com is the shortcut.
That is easier. All right, so let's switch gears to HOA.com a little bit more in depth, right? Because that's kind of your, that's kind of your baby right now. That's the thing that you're growing that I think really is going to change the way that people connect. I mean, you have such a huge vision for it, but why don't you just kind of start with, where, kind of where it came out of how you decided to go down this path and sort of where you see it going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a funny story. We started as thehomeowneralliance.com, right, with a mission of connecting homeowners to professionals they can trust. So we certify pros, do background checks, and we're building a referral network. My last company and platform was called refer.com. We built that to 5 million members, including 250,000 realtors.
5 million members.
5 million
Nice.
members, 250,000 realtors. And it was so fun because we'd have members that were in Antarctica. I'm like, we had 4 members in Antarctica. I'm thinking, who's up in Antarctica worried about their referral business? But there's
That's
people
awesome.
there that were. But what I learned through that experience is just what it takes to really connect people and then to help them find the resources that they need. With HOA.com, there's 355,000 homeowner associations in the U.S. Now, we didn't start with that as the target. We started, honestly, trying to create home buyer leads for realtors and mortgage lenders. That's how we started this company. And we were generating about 1,500 buyers per month that were going to our website, filling out a form, and searching for homes on our site. And what we found was that we were handing off and referring all these leads to these realtors, and they wouldn't pick up the phone. They wouldn't make the phone call. Right?
That's nothing worse than that, right?
Yeah, especially because our whole business model was to earn a percentage of the real estate referral. So we had a licensed brokerage and we were getting paid to generate the referrals, but we only got paid when the deal closed.
It was success based, and if they didn't have a successful system, then nobody won.
100%. It was performance based and it was free to the agents. And because it was free, they didn't take it as seriously and they just didn't follow up and follow through. So we pivoted and we created the model of really connecting homeowners to pros they can trust. What we're doing now is we're in the process of building out community pages for all 355,000 homeowner associations in the U.S.
Just a few pages.
They'll be dynamically driven and populated, and then what we're building is the ability to hyper localize the realtor, mortgage lender, again, all of those pros who are recommended then in the local HOA.
Which is huge because ultimately that's one of the values to those two groups, realtors and loan officers specifically, that's one of the opportunities of being part of HOA.com is really being in part of this trusted network of all those folks who live in that community.
Absolutely. And there's really 2 networks. One network is the HOAs, all the homeowners that associate themselves and feel part of that community, right? The other thing that we do is we have a professional referral network, just like at refer.com, we do the same. And what we're doing here is we're connecting professionals to others that are serving that same ideal client. So think of it like BNI power groups for real estate.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. And so I know that there's HOA.com/realtor.
There is.
All right. So that's a great place for people to go to learn if they're a real estate agent specific. You also have HOA.com/LO for loan officers.
That's correct.
Any other groups we should be pointing out, since I know that's most of this audience here, but what other groups might have a special landing page on HOA?
Well, we're in the process of building out other verticals, but those are the only 2 specialized. Everyone else goes to HOA.com/pro.
Pro. There you go. And I think that's the big word, pro, because in the end, you already just said it. When you guys are giving referrals to someone who's not doing their job with it, it's also a poor service to the consumer who gave you their information, their most valuable thing. And so the fact that you're able to help people become true professionals, you're taking people who are already pretty darn good at what they do, and you're just making them that much better.
We are. We only allow 4- and 5-star rated companies and professionals into the network, so we don't just accept anybody. It's not the credit card test. It's not the fog of mirror test. But you said something earlier that's really interesting. Back with refer.com, we had partnered with Prudential Real Estate globally, and we were at their national sales conventions for 3 years in a row. So I'd always ask these agents, when it comes to referrals, what's your number 1 challenge? What do you think they said? Any ideas?
I always think they say asking for one, but I don't know if there's something different.
Similar along those same lines. Basically, they say, look, we give out a ton and we just don't get that many back.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the reality is you need a team of people that are out there scouting for business for you, that are your champions, that are constantly recommending you and promoting you to the people that they're talking about. And so that's what we help people do on the HOA Referral Network side.
Well, and I like that too, because it also brings in the word that no one wants to hear is accountability, right? When you've got a team and you work together, you meet together regularly, whether it's in person or over the phone or over Zoom like we talked about, then you've got to report back to them, because that's the other part that I really found with a lot of people who were professionals.
Right.
Is you'd say, awesome, hey, how was your follow-up with that lead I gave? And they'd be like, let me find that piece of paper that I wrote it on and shoved it in my pocket that I never followed up on. And so I think that having a system for following up on referrals, having a group of people that are gonna work those referrals with you and keep you accountable is just a way to bring it to the next level.
It's so important, and I'm glad you said that. And I'll tell a quick story, because I learned this lesson when I had my company, Integrity Lending. I had this client, just like you had mentioned, who was a great referral source. He was a vice president for Intel. Okay, so an executive for Intel back in Oregon, and he was a client. I had done 3 different loans for him, and he had referred me a client. And he called me up one day and he said, hey, Brandon, how's it going with this client? I'll not say his name. And I said, oh, it's fantastic. We just closed 2 weeks ago on his refinance. Thanks again for the referral. And there was a long pause. And he said, very calmly, do you mind if I give you a piece of advice? I said, oh, I'd love that. Please, John. And he said, number one, it's a really good idea to thank people when they give you a referral. And I felt like such an idiot, like such a dunce. Of course it was, right? And then he said, number 2, it's also a really good idea to update people as the transaction goes forward, right? So immediately I had 30 loan officers working for me at the time. I had these thank you cards printed up with our company name, where our LOs just had to fill in the blank of the client they had received. And so ever since then, I've been on a mission to help people thank their referral partners, follow up and inform people of what's going on in the transaction, right? Because what I would ask in settings is, have you ever given a referral to someone only to talk to them later and say, hey, how'd that go? And they said, that knucklehead never even called me back.
That's always the most surprising one. So, you just said that communication and appreciation, but also there's that follow through and that follow up. And that's
right.
It was always amazing to me when I would be, sat in an office when I first got in the business, and there's cubicles, and I'd hear that person at the other cubicle, if he stumbled in after, his lunch or whatever it was, and the person, oh yeah, Brandon, I left him a voicemail, let me follow up with him again now. And I'm thinking to myself, did they actually ever call? But if they did, great, but then they never followed up. They never communicated, hey, thanks for the referral of Brandon. Hey, I've called 3 times, having troubles getting a hold of him. Maybe you can give him a little bit of a nudge. People just miss that opportunity. And I have to imagine, for me as a new loan officer, when I first got in the business, that I left thousands and thousands of dollars on the table. And as I grew systems, your word that you use, the conversion rate went up because there's follow-up. It wasn't like I was masterful. I didn't have better scripts. they did get better over time. And but as you communicate and appreciate, then that so helps. So what a great lesson. Think about if that gentleman hadn't taken the time to invest in you, if he didn't like you, if you hadn't built that rapport.
That's right.
For him to say that we might not be saying
massive. And then also celebration, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I learned early on was to build social proof by celebrating my referral partners or anybody that had given me a deal, right? I did a weekly newsletter, and in that newsletter, I would always thank the referral partners that had given me deals that month. Now, what happened was, as the agent, the realtors that I was sending that to, amongst other people, they would see the names of other agents they knew that they respected, and now all of a sudden my trust in their eyes went up, because they said, oh, if Norma and Dana and Tom are using him, he must be pretty good.
It's also that competition piece. They're like, oh, my name's not on that list. I want to be on that list too.
Yeah, because it's promotion for them as well. So absolutely. But nowadays, do that on social media, right? Yeah. Celebrate the people that are giving you business, and do it publicly. Do it in a forum, because most people like the recognition even more so than the compensation.
Well, and that's it. And we also know that there's RESPA rules and other things that people need to follow. And so that's something that you can do that's doesn't have a cost to it. And since it doesn't have a cost to it, check that with my friend Ken Perry at the Knowledge Coop. But yeah, I believe that's something where someone's not going to run into a challenge. All right, so I love that story. Can you think of another recent story or story in the past that has really, again, kind of reminded you of somewhere that someone has failed to do a great referral or has successfully done a referral that might resonate with someone?
Yeah, I mean, on the success side, I was honestly, actually, here's a great fail story. I was just meeting on Sunday with a guy who works for a company doing home automation. Their average ticket is a $50,000 install when they do a new house. He texted me yesterday, he just landed a $325,000 deal,
Dang.
right? And so we're talking, and I said, now help me understand, how are you generating referrals out of that? He said, what do you mean? He gets all of his business spoon-fed to him, right? So they're doing keywords or Google AdWords and basically generating leads online. And so he's not doing anything, the company isn't doing anything by referral. They're doing $8 million a year without any referral whatsoever. So I went to him and I said, okay, let me show you how to set the stage, listen for the triggers, and A.S.K to G.E.T. And he went, oh my gosh, that would be amazing, right? No cost to acquire that client, and you can just set that up. And I said, quite frankly, here you're doing a $325,000 deal. Dude, you should throw a party for them at the end, because all of the people that are going to want to come in and experience their new sound system and their home automation and how cool and high tech
doing its job.
Absolutely, right? And every one of those is a prospective customer for your business. So he's bringing me in to talk to the CEO. I said, are you doing any kind of leave behind where you're asking for referrals? Do you have a referral kit where you're rewarding people that are giving you referrals? In their case, they don't have that RESPA issue, right? So they can give a gift certificate to reward somebody that gives them a client.
I mean, super easy too, right? They probably have some little slot on the back of whatever it is, so they can just slide the thing in. They go, oh yeah, here you go, right? I mean,
and it should be part of their conversation.
Because I would ask, if I saw someone who had a high-tech system in their home like that, I'd be like, oh, tell me about that.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
And I'd be like, oh man, Adam was awesome when he installed that thing. You should give him a call.
And you don't think they want to show that off to all their buddies? You don't think they want to brag about their new $325,000 home automation system? Now, they might not share how much they spent.
I was going to say, right, that's more than some of their friends' homes potentially, but
they're going to talk about how cool it is, and they're going to show them the way that they can control the temperature and the sound and the lights and the locks and everything else that goes into that home. So that's a referral fail for me, and that's the most recent.
I 100% agree, and if you think about it even at the higher level, I mean, I joke that their friends can't afford it, but no, I mean, someone who can afford a $325,000 system has other friends who, guess what, can afford a $325,000 system, right? Birds of a feather flock together.
And why not throw a party and go, hey, he told me the margin that they're working with, they have plenty of money to help throw a party. And they don't have to throw the whole thing, just by creating the idea, right? And then saying, hey, I'd be happy to show up and show off if you'd like.
Yeah.
Right? And then maybe contribute to the party. Maybe they bring a margarita machine or a food truck. Who knows?
Right. And think about that. If they're part of HOA.com and they're just one of the spokes on the wheel, there's the other people on the hub that they can say, gosh, you know what? There's some complimentary service that, hey, you know what? I'm bringing my friend, Barb, the realtor, over just because I can.
Well, and it makes you legendary. I mean, if that person throws that party, realtors should throw an open house, or not really a housewarming party, right? And some agents do. Some agents will have a margarita machine and bring that to a housewarming party and say, let's do this, because what a great introduction to your perfect prospect. And now you've got somebody that's raving about what you're doing. In the case of the home automation, that guy wants to show off to everybody, I would think, right?
What a great story. Like that just...
I couldn't believe it. When he said they're doing $8 million a year and they have no referral system whatsoever, it just broke my heart. But the good news is he's going to introduce me to the CEO. I'm like, look, bro, we can take that to $10 million in 12 months just with some simple referral tactics.
I think the thing is that, right, I mean, everyone, regardless of what industry they're in, should be having that conversation with themselves right now. If they're not, right, this is the knock on the head. Like okay, you're, like, again, talking about my brother, he's an attorney. And one of the things I've always been most impressed with is his ability to bring people together. And I always thought, gosh, I never really thought about that piece of it. And, remember people being, my dad was an attorney too before he retired, and being parts of these different clubs. And I'm like, all right, you know what? You've created the simpler, easier, faster way to do it at HOA.com.
Yeah, and we do alliance leader events. So some people that want to actually create their own sort of BNI group, if you will, we call it a business alliance event. And you can go to HOA.com/leader and learn about that. But what we do is we help people start their own business alliance, bring people together and say, listen, I'm going to activate my network, and you're one of the people that I want to refer my clients to, right? Are you interested in creating a formal referral partnership? Bring those people into a room together. Let them know what your plan is. We, in the book, Raving Referrals, we give you the whole script and walk you through what to say and how to.
I was going to say that because everyone's thinking, oh, I don't know how to do that, Brandon. Like, what would I do when I get there? And then that's where I was going to just say what you said. Yep, you guys actually help with all of that.
We do. Well, and with HOA.com, we actually do some of the back end work. So when somebody becomes an alliance leader and they go through their training and they're ready to launch their alliance, one of the things that we do is network activation. We teach people how to do it themselves, and we actually help people do it on the back end because we want to help you win, and we know that some of those people will become members of HOA.com. So it's lead gen for us as much as service to our pros, right? It's a win-win, and that's how everything should be. So every month we create a new alliance, and we treat it more as a mastermind than a stand up and give your commercial, because that's tired and nobody really wants to do that, right? So what we do is we give the alliance leader a script to start the meeting, and then a list of questions to ask to facilitate the conversation. Now, everyone in the room is learning from each other, and so there's a lot more relationship built faster because people understand the expertise of the others in the room.
Yeah, I just love it, and I love the fact that you guys have made it the easy button for people, because I still feel like that's it. It goes back to your thing where you gave someone a lead, you had a able, willing, qualified buyer, and they didn't do anything with it. And so again, here you've got a system, and you just have to encourage people to take the first step, which is to connect and go to the website and check it out, HOA.com/leader. We got HOA.com/pro. We got HOA.com/LO. We got HOA.com/realtor. Are there any other ones we should be steering people to, or have I already overwhelmed everybody?
Let's leave it there. Leave it there for now. There are others, but those are the important ones for this.
All right. So I know you and I could talk about this all day. Are there any other last, 1, 2, or 3 points that we want to make sure that we let people know about Raving Referrals or HOA.com while we're here?
Yeah, my personal passion, my reason for being is to uplift, inspire, and empower every person on the planet. That's my scoreboard.
On the planet, too. I know that about you. It's not right. It's not here. I've seen your goal list.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So I'm global thinker, right? So for me, it's every person on the planet. So one of the things that we're so passionate about is our community impact events. Every month, we're creating community impact events that are good, they're family forward, uplifting, and fun. And so we create these campaigns so that our pros can then share them with their community. A lot of these people are great at providing their service, and they suck at the marketing, right?
Yeah. Well, they're so busy doing their service that they don't have time, or they haven't hired and found the right person to help them with that.
And they don't know how. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to do the systems. And so we really templatize those communications and campaigns and give them an easy way that they can share that with their community so they stay top of mind and are seen with the goodwill ambassadors that they are for their communities.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, Brandon Barnum, author of Raving Referrals, CEO of HOA.com. Thank you so much. That was a huge value.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Todd.
All right. This episode is brought to you by homebuyeruniversity.net, your free comprehensive guide to buying or refinancing your home. Click over to homebuyeruniversity.net to get started online today.